They call him Seatin, the man of legends.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an exciting video where today we will be talking about Void Stones. Yes, the currency on everybody's mind. Void Stones, we're going to be talking about how to farm them, how to do it efficiently, where to get all the quests, what you should spend your Void Stones on, what you need, priority lists, etc. So yeah, all about Void Stones today. It's going to be a pretty exciting video. So basically, let's start off with farming Void Stones and go through kind of the free methods. So you have the weekly methods, you have the daily methods, and you have the repeatable methods that you can just spam. So yeah, let's start off with the weeklies. Now in Flagel Plaza in Dromheim, which is kind of sort of near the center, it's right next to Margle Palace, there is the weekly zone where you pick up all your weekly quests in Nightmare Tide. Now there are a total of 5 different quests, which on completion will reward you with 2,500 Void Stones as their base reward. Obviously, if you do have currency multipliers such as patron status, 55%, token vials, 160%, this is going to be a lot more Void Stones when you hand them in. So just bear that in mind, that is just the base reward, and it's kind of like it's 12,500 for doing all of these quests, and to be honest, they can all be done in a fairly reasonable time frame. Now let's just go through the quests quickly. You have the Spirit of Adventure to complete 30 instant adventures. The best zone to do this in is Silverwood. You can get them all done in about 30 minutes. Very, very easy zone to do it in, so I'd highly advocate Silverwood as the fastest way to do that one. 2,500 Void Stones, as well as, marks and sort of dungeon and raid marks, so that's awesome. War Across the Sea is do zone events in 4 zones in the Nightmare's Tide content. Very, very easy one to do again. That is going to be done fairly passively because there are just zone events firing off all over the place on your cluster. And then you have the 2 PvP ones, which are Carnage Ascended and also Guns for Hire. Carnage Ascended requires you to kill 1,000 players, but is currently a bit bugged in the way that if your raid wipes on a variety of encounters, the kills, so people dying, will actually count towards your PvP kill quest, which is certainly very interesting. I believe about 200 of my current kills on this week's weekly quest are from just people dying in raids, which is absolutely wonderful. And then you have Guns for Hire, which is all about, completing war fronts and winning them. You got Library of the Rune Master Codex and Scion lately. It's just been that quest for quite some time. I haven't seen the Black Garden one yet, but that one isn't overly hard to complete. It just does take, a bit of time, a bit of luck, and also you need to be good at the PvP game, which some people do struggle with. So that is the 4th one, and we'll go on to the final one, which is kill bosses in Nightmare Rifts. Now initially this one is actually not available until you complete the entire Nightmare Rift Nightmare Rift kind of storyline, which can be initially sort of picked up at any one of these Nightmare Rift stations. They're kind of really randomly scattered about, basically anywhere that has this guy in the middle and kind of a load of people in chambers is probably going to be a Nightmare Rift station, and that's where you can initially pick up the story. It is, I believe, a 7-part quest that shouldn't take most people more than about an hour to 2 hours to complete. It's very, very easy. All of the quests are super straightforward, and then you unlock this weekly forever, which is just really quick and easy to do. You can open like a Nightmare 1 in, Ember Isle, Nightmare 1 or 2 in Ember Isle, and get it done very, very quickly. So that one is just amazing to do, and it's definitely suggested that you lunge to get the story quest on the Nightmare Rift completed as soon as possible, because you do want that weekly quest, as it is essentially a large stack of free Void Stones every week. So that is awesome. So that is it for the weekly methods. Again, like if you pop pretty much, if you pop 160% vial, and you have patron status and turn in like 3 of those quests, you will be pretty much capped. If you pop an 80% one and turn in all 5, you'll also be pretty much capped. So that's something interesting to bear in mind for people who may have got, a token tablet out of their, weekly patron gift, daily patron gift, or have previously got one in the past via, you know, some form of like, you know, we fucked up and here's a free tablet or set of vials to make it all better. If you also you have a bit of money to splash on the game and you want to make your void stones farming going a bit faster, you can also buy, what is it, the boost from the store. You can buy both of those token tablets if you so desire. But yeah, that's just kind of a lazy way to cap it. If you just want to cap it out on weeklies, that's what you do. However, for the majority of people that, you know, maybe might not be able to afford that, we're going to go into other farming methods. Now, once you have 1,000+ hit, you're actually eligible and geared to do the daily raid rift quest, which rewards you with 250 void stones per day. These daily raid rifts at the moment, in comparison to Storm Legion, are nowhere near the easiness that they were in Storm Legion. They are quite difficult and do take about half an hour to 45 minutes for kind of the average group to complete, and you kind of do want a pre-made group and somebody that kind of knows the tactics and the gist of the raid rifts. But that is an additional 750 void stones each day, so if you do have 1,000+ hit from farming experts, then it's definitely something that you should do on a daily basis, because, you know, 750 void stones, easy currency. Then you have daily quests, which are scattered throughout the zones. Now, pretty much every time you complete, if you've completed any of the story arcs at all in any of the zones, there are 3 major ones in each zone. At the end of that story arc will be a daily quest that you can do in that zone. Now, these daily quests, 1, they are very scattered all over the place, and 2, they are not very rewarding. They reward 40 void stones on completion, which to me is pretty worthless. Like, it's really crappy reward. So the daily quest, I'd say, is definitely not a decent way to farm the void stones. However, one really kind of good and quick tip that you can do is go to each gas station every day. So you got gas station Mem in Gaboru, you have gas station Rosh in Dromheim, and you have gas station 2 in Tarkan Glacier. You can play a quick game of Manugu in each one of them and get 40 void stones. So like if you're waiting around for a proc or something to do, you know, that's just a quick way to quickly get some void stones and a bit of Manugu rep. Not like Manugu rep is really easy to cap anyway, but just, you know, if you want that bit extra of it, then that is something to do. Now let's talk about farmable methods. You essentially have 2. You have Nightmare Rifts and Zone Events. I find that Zone Events are highly more rewarding than Nightmare Rifts, basically because what you can essentially do to farm Zone Events is if you right-click your character, you can teleport to any shard in your cluster. This means you have multiple instances of the zones going on at any time, and using the online Rift Zone Event Tracker that you can have like in a separate tab, you can basically monitor zone events across all of the shards, see where they are at, and then just quickly sort of go between them and tag the zone events. When I say tag the zone events, I either mean do one of 2 things, and one of them is participate in closing a rift, or sort of do kind of like 10 or more hits on the end boss. So either of those will tag the zone event for sort of safety reasons, and you will get the 165 void stones for completing that zone event, plus, you know, participating in an additional objective. So that's 165 void stones for something that you can do quite rapidly. So yeah, I'd suggest, like, if you just want to straight up farm zone events, that is definitely the not only best but most efficient way to do it. Nightmare Rifts kind of are slightly less rewarding than that. They reward you a cache every 10 phases, which will contain anywhere between about sort of, I believe it's about 25 to 40 void stones, depending on the tier of Nightmare Rift that you're doing. But also, you know, you do have additional rewards with the Nightmare Rift, such as, you know, the potential of essences and all the Nightmare Energy upgrades, the Gar rep, etc. So it's kind of, you know, balancing what you need based on your priorities. But basically, if you just want to straight up farm void stones and you have nothing else to do, then zone event spamming is definitely the way to go. But above all, the weeklies are kind of the quickest way to do stuff, just because of the sheer amount of currency they reward is just absolutely crazy. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the farming of void stones. I hope sort of you know, most of that was clear to you. If you do have any questions, you know, put them in the comments. I'm always happy to answer. But now we're going to talk about what should I spend my void stones on, and what do I actually need to buy from my void stones, and that's quite an interesting question. Now, for everybody, regardless of whether or not you have the collector's edition, which unlocks both the earrings things in the Planewalker. The first thing that you want to get with your Void Stones is a Synergy Crystal for your main spec. Synergy Crystals are huge in this expansion and make such a large difference to your DPS. Like, for example, this one, gives me pretty much 550 extra spell power and 500 extra spell crit. Not that spell crit's very useful, but it's mainly about the large chunk of spell power that I gain from having this Synergy Crystal equipped, which is, to me, a absolutely huge DPS upgrade at a fairly cheap cost of just 15k Void Stones. For anybody that wants to know how to farm Pelagic Order Rep, you need to farm it to Decorated. Very easy to do. Just do like 4 or 5 Nightmare Rifts, and you pretty much have all the rep required. It is very easy to get the rep for a Synergy Crystal, so that's not even a challenge there. So that should be the first thing that you buy with your Void Stones, in my opinion. Then the second thing, now this is on the provision that you do not have a Collector's Edition and need to manually purchase the earring slots, are the earring slots. So you can buy those for 100,000 Void Stones, and that will unlock both of your earring slots for your character, and just applies to the character that you brought it on. So that is definitely the second thing I'd suggest purchasing, as the earring slots can be a huge upgrade. It's literally probably about I'd say 700 of your main stats, so kind of the DPS upgrade equivalent, or effectiveness upgrade equivalent, is that of equipping a Synergy Crystal, providing that you do have decent earrings as well. So there's the second thing I'd suggest farming. For the average player, somebody who can complete all the weekly quests and, occasionally throw in a daily there, earring slots are probably going to take anywhere between about 3 to 6 weeks to actually farm, just as a bit of a heads up. I mean, ideally, if you can and do have the money, you'll probably want to buy the lowest Collector's Edition, because it will save you a lot of time, but if you cannot afford it, it is completely viable to farm those in-game, and really isn't that much of a challenge, quote unquote. So yeah, just something to keep in mind there. So that's the second thing I suggest buying. The third thing I would suggest buying is definitely kind of the mid-tier of Gar essences, once you have both the Reputation and also the Nightmare Free Master. So what you can do is you can buy, for most people DPS wise, it is the crit power one and the attack power or spell power one, and then you can also upgrade those. You can have both the unupgraded one and an upgraded one in your sigil. I believe this is actually currently a bug, but I am not too sure. Regardless of which, it still works, and these can be like an absolute huge upgrade from the 65 essences. Nightmare Free Master isn't too difficult to get. It just takes, a bit of time farming those Nightmare Free Rifts to actually unlock the achievements. In regards to the raid tier and kind of the maximum tier Gar essences, those take a lot of grinding, and they are heavily gated by the Nightmare 5 Master achievement, which only a very small handful of top tier raiders have at the moment. So for the average player, it's going to take quite a while to get there. So for most people, you can settle at the expert / mid tier level Gar essences and be pretty damn happy with that. Apart from that, what else do you have? Let's have a look. So fourth on the list would probably be Planewalker Water. Now, something very interesting about the Planewalker Water is it applies to all of your characters on your account once purchased. So for maybe those who are, you have a lot of spare time, but, you don't have the money to buy it, is basically level up a second character and do kind of the big weekly farm on it, and just kind of gain Void Stones via doing that, and you can, buy it on your second character, and thus you won't have to waste the Void Stones on your main. So it, kind of speeds up the entire process, because once you upgrade, unlock the Planewalker Water, then that is that for all of your characters. And the Planewalker Water is really nothing but just annoying. Like, it's the most annoying feature ever, and I really wish it wasn't in the game, but I'm just saying that that's the fourth thing I was going to buy if I didn't have the Collector's Edition. So yeah, definitely go for that. Apart from that, you kind of have free additional things that you can buy. Now, the next thing is the Focus of Nightmares, which can be bought via Void Stones, 15k. Pretty damn cheap Void Stone-wise. Gives you extra endurance and resistance. This is really for players who want to kind of max out their character and, have a sigil that lasts for the long term. I'd say it's pretty decent and worth getting if you know you're going to want to play on that character. Gives you extra endurance, nice bit of raid survivability there. But it really isn't essential. It's kind of just one of those, like, like additional things that will give you a bit more health and survivability, but it's not really all that needed. Apart from that, you have the upgrade parts. You have Void Source accelerators, which can be used to upgrade crafted rings. I know a lot of people struggle to actually, you know, find rings to raid with, and via Artificer, let me just open Artificer, you can craft rings and then sort of upgrade them and upgrade them again to give them kind of like pre-raid level quality. And those rings are fairly decent, and they cost 4 Void Source accelerators to upgrade. So that is about it's about 23k, I believe, Void Stones. So yeah, that's just something also useful you can buy with them, because rings just are so scarce dropping in expert dungeons, so people, you know, struggle to fill that gap often. In regards to the armor, do not buy armor with Void Stones. It is literally completely worthless. It's so damn crappy. So you initially buy the armor. The armor that you can buy for large chunks of Void Stones is pretty much the equivalent to like base level crafted gear, and then when you upgrade it, literally in every slot something better will drop in an expert dungeon or can be purchased via the Abyssal Crusaders marks, and Abyssal Crusaders marks are very easy to cap each week. They're like not a problem at all. So do not buy gear with Void Stones. I do warn all of you that, because you are essentially just throwing them down the drain if you do that, because it is going to be replaced pretty damn quickly. So that is pretty much it, guys, for my Void Stone farming and spending advice. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do have any questions at all about Void Stones, how to farm and what should I spend them on, please do leave them in the comments below. Apart from that, I would like to thank you again for watching. If you want to see more really awesome Rift content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Apart from that, take care and have an absolutely great day, ladies and gentlemen.